It's your girl Candy K. Lynn.
And your boy Shawtown Shaw.
And it's 6 o'clock, so it's time to
Pull up.
every Monday here on DFWIRadio.com. We talk.
Sports, news, hip hop.
We don't talk about people.
We just give you the facts.
Mr. Shaw, it's Monday. We are back again. Like, I feel like Mondays get here so quick. What about
Not
you?
for real.
And with this being another Monday that we are here, this is the first time in pull up history we get to talk about the Olympics.
Facts.
We get to talk about the Olympics. So it's 2021. The Olympics were postponed in 2020 due to COVID-19, which we all experienced the effects of that. If you didn't, I don't know what planet you live on. And so we get the Olympic Games. I was excited, but since I've been watching, I'm not so excited. What about you?
I ain't even watched. That's not, and I love the Olympics. I ain't had the chance to watch. But same time, USA basketball being AWS takes all the excitement out of. Nah, I ain't gonna lie. I watched the men's relay 4x1
Swimming?
last night. Swimming. I
Yeah.
watched that. I watched it. I caught the back half of that, and that was pretty exciting. I mean, I
Because
love.
we won.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's always fun when you win. You don't want to watch
Yeah.
no when you lose. All right.
So
So again, I still don't believe the team USA is out of. They still got a chance, but they got to come on with it. Like whatchamacallit said. Dang, what's his name? France. He said that individually, Team USA great, but
yeah.
they don't know how to play together as a team. Let's say everybody game. Oh, we great. It don't work like this. So
And I think that's what they're and you and I have gone back and forth with this, and I told you, in my
so it's
opinion, because that is my era of basketball. The 92 Dream Team is one of the greatest teams ever assembled, right? We know in 2024 with, hopefully COVID will be done. I mean, we keep getting variants. The Delta variant is showing up. The Lambda variant is showing up. But hopefully by 2024, things will be back to normal. But you were asking players not to protest. You basically you can't tell LeBron James and Stephen Curry how to behave and carry themselves. So I feel like these players, they are
and
great.
y'all got these people sleeping on cardboard box. Tokyo, y'all out of line. Y'all out of line.
And they say they're supposed to be like a mattress company help them construct this, but you're talking 6'10" athletes who used to sleeping on the best of the best and customized mattresses. So I don't know. I'm not using it as an excuse.
Let me,
I
let
just
me
think
let me tell you something that me and one of my partners said. When you get real money, well, okay, Moneybag Yo said this. When you get real money, you on board. When you get real money, you do what you want. Y'all are not finna put me just so we can't have sex. You outside your mind. Just stand up and I'll give it to him. Okay? I'm an NBA player. Dude, you talking about can't. Stop it. Devin Booker just lost in the finals. You know he horny. Horny and mad. He just lost in the finals.
well, you didn't even got to that. Like, and they say a lot of sex goes on in the Olympic Village, but you also have COVID, right? So my thought originally with the Olympics was, as bad as I wanted to see the Olympics, I thought we should have just waited till 2024. And I feel like in the production is, and our show is worldwide, right? And I thought about that today. I wanted to be like USA goes for gold was like what I wanted to win the title, like. But then I had to remember, like, we are a show like on the radio. I'm sure we're US based. We have a lot of Dallas, Houston followers, but when these go up into podcasts, we have other nations listening to our show. And so I just don't see America giving us what we've gotten before. Katie Ledecky got beat. She got a silver, but we like gold.
Yeah, Katie was a dolphin in the water last Olympics.
But it's the
We talking
time.
about this a year. It's a year removed. They were supposed to do it last year, so everybody was training for it last year. Not to say that they didn't train this year, but I feel like everything not rushed. But look at the NBA season. The NBA season had to go a little longer, so you didn't have all the players you needed. You didn't get that normal. Like usually the NBA players get 2 to 3 weeks to practice together.
Together, yeah.
They didn't get that. We just added we just added 5 new people to the roster in less than a week. Because remember, JaVale McGee and Keldon Johnson got added on top of the 3 other players. So again, we're not gonna get him no, we're not gonna cut them no slack. But it's not It's not working out. It's not panning out. But again, Tokyo don't care about that. They just want to make sure they got their money.
And here's the thing: Olympic basketball, Simone Biles is headed for gold again. Jordan Childs, who I really wanted to see, plays 40th. So they've changed the rules. There's just a lot of things about it, right? And then Russia is now the ROC. Like, and they had been in trouble for doping. So it's just a lot of things with the Olympics. You know, American men's volleyball, they've gotten beaten in group play. Beach volleyball, I think some of them have lost in group play.
Why doesn't America have a 3-on-3 team?
The men got beat. They never made it. The women are 6-0. So the women's team with Kelsey Plum and Alicia Gray, and Dolan, they are 6-0 so far. So they are looking for the driver's seat. Now, the one thing that I was really, really excited about with the Olympics coming back was we brought softball back because they took it out because America was beating everybody. And yes, this is my little brag moment, but softball beat Japan last night on a walk-off, and so they are expected to play for the gold on Tuesday. So I am excited that softball is still out there. I am even a little shaky on the U.S. women's team, basketball team, who's never lost in international competition, that did lose this time. So it is like you said, it's the delay. We don't know who's had COVID. It was that the women were in a bubble last year, these short seasons. They play internationally. Oh, y'all, excuse me. I'm not crying. My eye is just, I don't know. It's been leaking. So it's just a lot of things that are off, you know. I don't know. I think that 2024 maybe we'll get a better showing, but it didn't work in front of it's not working in favor of the Americans right now, in my opinion. We are second in the gold count. We're second in the medal count. We only have like 4 golds. So China is leading. China has 18 medals. We have 14, and the ROC has 12, which was the last time that I checked. But I don't know. I've learned some stuff. You know, I've watched handball. I've watched badminton. I've watched table tennis. Skating. Japan made sure they had skating, and that's not a shot, but only in the skating events they've pretty much won gold. So that's something undoubtedly that's really big over there that they're really, really good at. They're 13 and 14-year-olds.
Talking about
Skateboarding. So
best one from America lost.
Well, Jagger plays second. So on the men's side, we did at least have one, and then the other young African American kid, he plays like 7th. So I mean, for the first time, it's not a terrible showing, I guess. But I don't know. I'm just used to America winning. So till we get back on top, I'm like you said, I need to see some more swimming. And I know the medal count changes when we go to track and field, right? Japan and China ain't winning. I ain't trying. Russia ain't winning. Now, I don't know. Russia's been doping again, allegedly. I don't know. But I think that later in the week and next week, we'll see the tides start to change for the Americans. Even in like rowing, we got beat. So, and U.S. women's volleyball plays tonight.
In those other countries, I just don't know. You know, I'm not gonna say sports stuff like rowing. I don't even know. Like, where do you find a rower at? Like Stanford?
Yeah, USC has a rowing team. Remember, they had. That's why them went to jail because their kids were supposed to be on rowing scholarships. So, I mean, different things, but it's exciting. This is our first time as a show to get to cover the Olympics. So, good, bad, and ugly. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. We have comments, and I'm just like off task today. No way the IOC was going to cancel a whole Olympics. That's flushing billions down the drain. I agree, Josh. NBA MVP is Nigerian. The best player in the league is Slovenian. And Luka put up 48 points last night. He's tied for second most in Olympic history. The USA no longer consistently produces the best basketball talent in the world. Agree. I was shocked. But with Simone, I think Simone's issue, y'all, is she flies so high. No one has ever coached that, right? And I was watching Poland's men volleyball, Mr. Shaw. I know you're on your phone. You're like not really paying attention. Like,
you said you were just talking about Simone. So I seen a quote earlier about Simone how they were saying. She said she was in the league her own. I think it was one of that. Basically said some of the moves that she tries and she does. If anybody else tried it, they would hurt themselves. So I feel like they grading her on a scale of perfection, right? So
Her
she's
level of
not perfect.
difficulty, yes, because that is a part of the sport, right?
She
But
thought I
that's
wasn't paying attention. I'm always paying attention.
so with that, right? So now we're going somewhere. Have we seen how high she is and how fast she and Jordan Childs comes down the runway, right?
I feel like we you don't see. I don't know. I feel like in practice you might not get. We probably never seen her full like her best, right? I feel
Mr.
like in
Shaw.
practice. Oh,
There you
I
go.
thought I was a little blurry. I ain't want to say nothing. I ain't want to say nothing about T and the blurry camera. My business though. Anyway, I feel like we haven't seen her best. You know, I feel like in practice she probably pull out some stuff. She's trying. So you know, I'm not that big. Again, I feel like everything with the delay threw everybody back a little bit. I'm just convinced. I'm not giving no excuses, but you know, every 4 years, we in the 5th year, right?
Right.
That's a year. Like your body not the same as it was last year.
And
I
you're
know mine
older.
not. I know mine not. Now next year, my body is definitely not gonna be the same because
Well,
baby,
Simone is 24 years old, and that's old for
fit,
gymnastics.
fat and fit family, baby. So she would have been
That's a whole
23 last year.
exactly. So we totally agree. So right now we're rooting for the Olympics. We'll
From
be back
fat to
next
fit,
week.
baby. Y'all see me next year.
We'll be back. We'll be back to talk more Olympics next week because we will see
I
where it
said, can
is,
I get
and
in? It's 6:12. How we going? We
we're
got
moving
18
on.
minutes. Yeah, I thought you. You're right.
We're moving on. We're moving on to NFL. It's August. It's almost August. It's used to be like your favorite time of the year. Like there's a lot of football to talk about, and we're moving on. Aaron Rodgers. As I was typing it today, I was literally typing Brett Favre, y'all. Like I am. I don't know in a time warp, but Aaron Rodgers is expected to report to camp. That has been the biggest. That's been the
The
talk of
odds
the
went from
offseason.
like 1,400 to plus 1,800. So the odds even went up.
So because he's reporting, allegedly the deal that they're working is to get him out of there because he doesn't want to be there. But the biggest news of the day with that story with Aaron Rodgers is that Aaron Rodgers and oh my God, I can't because I didn't write it down. God, what's his receiver's name? Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers posted on their Instagram accounts the last dance. Well, of course, Twitter was in an uproar and the major media outlets picked up this story. But it's so funny to see some of these Twitter users go, oh, I didn't know it was a reference to Jordan's and the Bulls' last dance. So there's been indication that the two of them will probably not re-sign for longer than a year. Aaron Rodgers will not get the franchise tag because he has said he wants out. And when you're a quarterback,
It
your
says
MVP quarterback wants
if
out.
Trevor Lawrence throws a touchdown pass to Tim Tebow this season, do not turn on ESPN for at least 7 days. People paying.
Hey, Kirk, pull up.
So we
I
know
don't care
what?
how much he hates the GM. No way he was giving $22 million back to Green Bay. He wasn't giving $22 million back, right? But with Aaron Rodgers and Deshaun Watson, why are we holding people hostage? As an organization, when people say they don't want to be there, how productive do you think they're going to be for you? Because they don't want to be there.
We seen James Harden this year.
He didn't want to be there. He got out. It's like a Get Out movie. And what is it with these organizations? And I feel like we talk about the same things on here over and over again. What is it about your organization that sucks so much that you can't keep your star players happy?
It's well, Green Bay, we seen it. We seen it. It was a fourth quarter, less than 3 minutes left. We down 8, and we kicking the field goal. We're not gonna win the game that way. It's just for us to go to the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? Like Deshaun Watson didn't want to be there no more. Again, now Deshaun Watson didn't want to be there because they sent out his talent away.
Exactly.
Right?
So, Josh, they
Nobody
are the
wants
same
to wait.
situations. Nobody wants to be there.
No. Different situations because Green Bay ain't never had. They don't draft receivers.
Right.
Devontae Adams like a 4th, 5th rounder. They don't draft receivers. Deshaun Watson literally had a top 3 receiver in the NFL, like D Hop, Nuke, whatever you want to call him, different. There was a season he ain't dropped nothing. And got targeted 18 times a game, dropped nothing. And then you trade him for a running back. Anybody who watches football know one thing. If it ain't Saquon Barkley, Ezekiel Elliott with his mind right, Derrick Henry. It don't matter. What you trading them to me for? There is no other running back. Like Christian McCaffrey, he cool. I'm not knocking Christian McCaffrey. I'm not saying there are any. Those are the top 4 premier running backs in the league, right? Like that's it. Kareem Hunt getting his life back together, but again, it's some other ones. It's some other Chubb, he pretty good. It's some Nick Chubb cool, but when we're talking premier,
but you don't get rid of your receivers, right?
For a running back, that's not premier. You got David Johnson in return for D Hop. He supposed to be up. He supposed to want to go.
So to go to that, right? So before I get to D Hop's situation, because that's a whole nother situation in the NFL right now, let's talk about the fact that Deshaun Watson is going to report to practice because, well, you don't want to spend $50,000, right? So that's the limbo. I don't want to be here. This case has generated, and now we haven't heard anything about it in weeks, right? It was the hottest topic of the year, which limited and lowered his trade value. Now we've heard nothing about this situation, but it's time to go to training camp. You got to show up so that you don't give back $50 million. $22 million, $50,000 every day. That ish adds up real quick.
Nah, facts.
Well, yeah, he's untouchable, but these are allegations that we never knew about. Like, none of this existed until he said he wanted out of Houston.
Let me tell y'all something. It's some teams that ain't worried about that. It's some teams.
And if Dak Prescott wasn't healthy, Jerry Jones is one of them who never worries about legal problems.
Jerry for sure would have made that swap, but then he would have to pay a quarterback.
So if he didn't have Dak Prescott, so I feel like Deshaun Watson's situation, again, we talked about it, the GM, they knew those allegations. If it happened before, things don't just show up. They knew about it before, and it only became convenient when he wanted out. So to go back to you talking about D Hops, to Hopkins, so the NFL has now instituted basically a policy for teams that are not available to play on Sunday. They will basically be forfeiting if it's due to COVID for everybody who's not vaccinated. For coaches and players who are not vaccinated. So it's basically telling you that either you're going to get vaccinated or you're going to penalize your team. Kirk, I agree. Nobody proved anything on the Deshaun.
So what if you get vaccinated and then you still got to go on the protocol because you got it?
So it's a different situation, right? So the coach, one of the head coaches, I want to say Indianapolis, Minnesota, because some of the coaches are not coaching this year in college football, we know. But it looks at it's totally different, right? Because we do understand that we can still contract the virus even being vaccinated. But with with the virus, you're supposed to be more like flu symptoms. So it's not supposed to be as difficult for someone who is fully vaccinated versus someone that's not. So again, we're going to see these rules fluctuate all year long. This is the Colts head coach. He's fully vaccinated. He has COVID. And he can't report to training camp until his incubation period is over. Because at first they were saying if you're fully vaccinated, you didn't need to quarantine. That vaccinated people, it helps eliminate contact tracing. So there's just so much going on with this virus as we're still trying to build jobs and sports into this. So you say that about, and I'm sure there's going to be fines. I'm sure there's going to be penalties. But as you said, what happens if you have 2 players on the team or 3 players on the team that are fully vaccinated and a team can't play? Then what? So we're going to be in a lot of hypothetical type situations this year because we don't know. We don't know what this new strain is going to do. And, everybody lives in states that don't have mask policies any longer.
Definitely Texas.
So there's no mask. So if we know that's a first layer of protection, and we know that these football players are no longer in these bubbles, they're at home, they're with their family, they're housekeepers, they're cooks, they're
Mm-hmm.
trainers, all of these people they have interaction with. How are we going to maintain this? And as you said, what happens if it's the fully vaccinated individuals on the team that have the virus? 5 or 10 of them come up with the virus because even vaccinated, you can still spread the virus.
Mm-hmm.
So then what? Is it? Do you? And they're doing it in college, right? So this is an NBA and college situation where there are some colleges that are like the Pac-12. They're mandating the vaccination, and for coaches, unless they have an exemption letter, if they don't do it, they're not going to be able to coach. So, is it fair?
Is it fair? I can't say if it's fair or not per se. Like I can't say, oh, it's not fair that they doing that because rules are rules. But nobody can truly be blamed for COVID. So you telling people to stay in the house, wear masks, A, B, C, and D. At this point, man, you get it. You get it. You can try to protect yourself the best you can, but you can't tell athletes not to go hang out. How do you tell a person, a multi-millionaire who has money, and man, you gotta go to work and go home?
I mean, but there's no, and I guess again, that's where I'm on the bubble, right? This is a situation where I'm so on the fence.
I
I'm
don't
fully
believe in forcing
vaccinated.
nobody to do nothing. That sounds
That
like
and
work.
that's where
Sound
I
like
am.
work to me.
I'm fully vaccinated. It's you're telling, especially like college athletes, right? I get it. I get why it's necessary. I think that these governors should do a better job of. We need to go back to the mask policies. We need to go back to a limited number of people in a building, right? Because we know that worked. We know we saw less COVID cases when we reopened the world, and there were 30 people in the building versus 600. You know, we know that. We know that outside the variant, because it's outside, it doesn't travel, it's less likely that you're going to catch the virus outside versus inside. But
Mm-hmm.
everybody's back to standing on top of each other.
Not
So
me.
we basically as a nation said the virus was over by just saying the virus was over.
It was the governors worried about losing money in certain states.
Right.
That's what it came down to. I said it. We were the lamb. We were the sheep headed to the slaughter. As long as they made their money, they were okay. And everybody got to be realistic about that. Everybody got to be honest.
And what
Yeah.
about the long-term effects? I mean, that's what we're looking at financially.
There is no long term. There is no long term effects when people thinking about money. When people thinking about money, they're not thinking about 4 or 5 years from now. They're thinking about right now. The governor of this country is not thinking about
Of the
4 or 5 years from now one of these strands that broke out. Because again, I'm convinced this is how Walking Dead started. I'm convinced the Walking Dead start from some shit like this. Okay, so you need to get prepared. Either we coming to you, y'all coming to us. We're gonna build a fort, and we all gonna live in a community. We're gonna go take over some houses in Lake Ridge. Okay, enough space so we can go out the backyard if the walkers come in the front yard. Okay, we can
I am so
survive.
confused about what you're talking about. I can no
Walking
longer.
Dead, the walkers.
I've never seen it. I don't know what you're talking. So the alien takeover.
No, zombies.
Okay, so we're gonna be zombies.
Yes,
Okay.
and they're gonna get the Republicans first.
Okay. Well, they should, because they're a little bit silly, and that's a whole nother subject, especially here in Texas where the Democrats have left the states. Okay? They're in Washington, D.C.
Hey, the governor of this country, he fucked. The
You mean
Walker
the state?
he fucked.
Why do
What
you
he
keep saying?
gonna do?
Why do you keep saying of this country, sir? Why do you keep saying the governor of this country?
I read what Josh said. The governor of this state. Hey, what you gonna do when the walkers come? Ain't nobody pushing you, sir. The arms ain't gonna move fast enough. They gonna eat your ass at that damn chair. Oh, they eat you gone, mother sucker. You gonna tell women when they can have an abortion? Sir, listen, if I get a girl pregnant and I want her to get an abortion, he need to get an abortion, sir. Don't take her rights away. That's her right to abort that baby.
Well, and what we're doing in this country is we say we have rights, but we're literally limiting, even with the vaccine. We're and the Republicans are the first ones who were like, they're all vaccinated. Like, I just wish that people would stop. Like, and that's the thing, especially in our culture, we need to make sure we're making informed, logical decisions. They're all vaccinated. So if a vaccination can keep me from possibly dying, and I'm just going to have flu symptoms, I can live with that, So it's a lot of misinformation. I think that for athletes, they have to make decisions that are best for them. Josh made a great point. DeAndre Hopkins not getting a vaccine and deciding he's going to pay a fine or sit out is not the same as the guy that's the 53rd roster spot that makes $500,000 a year. He don't really have a choice if he wants to play football in the NFL.
He got to be realistic.
Yeah, so it's just about like really getting together and figuring out what works best for you and your family.
Look, the only reason it's some women. It's some women who done had some babies that they ain't deserve to have because they can't take care of them. It's some babies.
I can't. We're not gonna even do this conversation today. We're gonna have to.
I got some
cousins. We're gonna have to schedule this abortion conversation.
I got some cousins who should have did that. I love their children now, but they knew they couldn't take care of when they had them.
Listen, abortion is a woman's right, and that's where I'm gonna end that. So the next thing that we are talking about, Mr. Shaw, that's a big, big deal is college football. We've talked about the need for an expansion of college playoffs, but right now the biggest news that came out this week is that the University of Texas and Oklahoma have decided that they are separating from the Big 12. They will not be renewing their contracts in 2025. They are, rumor was leaked last week. There was an article in the Houston Chronicle that led to the coverage of this, that they were looking to go to the SEC.
Did you say why?
Well, you know who leaked first of all, let's talk about A&M leaking this, right? Because now A&M is mad. They need to be the big dogs in the Big 12, even though they suck.
You said A&M?
A&M undoubtedly dropped the bomb and let the cat out the bag that Texas and Oklahoma were looking to leave the Big 12. So I have a lot of feelings about this. A lot. Okay, do you see me? I have a lot of feelings about this. I'm going to keep it to just the minimum amount. Money is the reason, but if they leave the Big 12 now, they are looking at up to $80 million they're going to owe the Big 12 for not renewing TV rights.
That's why they leave in 2025.
Well, but are they really living in 2025? Because see, that's my question. If they decided that they were really leaving in 2025, would we be having this conversation in 2021?
I said what the report said.
I heard what the report said. But, Kirk, the decommitting from the University of Texas are still playing the eyes of Texas. So any athletes that are paying attention, I'm still not sure why they would be committing to Texas to begin with.
Hey, this is my thing. I like it. I like the fact that I have no problem with the players I have no problem with them switching conferences. There's one thing I seen that didn't make no sense. Right? They put it and this couldn't be right because it don't make no sense. They put Texas and Oklahoma in the West and then move Auburn and Alabama over to the East. That makes no sense. Put one in the West, one in the East. Problem solved.
Well, even in that, this is why I hate this, right? Everybody, the playoff system has to change. Everybody's coming out of the SEC at this point. I mean, we're going to get Notre Dame that we see get slaughtered in the first round all the time. You don't even get a Big 12 team at this point.
Yes, you do. You still a Power 5 conference, so you automatically.
Who are you going to get? Strength of schedule automatically, right? Because
strength of
schedule has always been.
If Baylor run the Big 12, Baylor go perfect in the Big 12. They in.
So let's say bring Nebraska and Missouri back to the Big 12, but they haven't been great. It's not like we're getting good football.
Whoa. Why is Missouri leaving the SEC? Why is Nebraska leaving the Big 10? Nebraska needs to stay. Nebraska not gonna win no matter where they go. Plain and simple. Nebraska, but that don't make sense. That don't make sense to keep them on the same side. Then you're overloading one side
of the conference.
There's nothing. Only thing over there is gonna be Texas. It's gonna be Texas, Oklahoma, A&M, LSU. You're gonna have Georgia, Alabama, Auburn, Florida, and don't sleep on Kentucky. Don't, because they've been coming to play. It's not gonna be competitive that way, right? You don't have to be on the same side to still have a game.
I think it makes it bad. I think this is bad. I think the Texas Oklahoma move to the SEC helps in football. And I understand football is the biggest net gross for universities, right? But look at how you screw the rest of your teams, right? It's going to be hard to win. But it's time for us to go ahead and take our break. We will be back with part 2 of the show. We talking Meg Thee Stallion. This is your girl, Candy K. Lynn.
And your boy, Shawtown Shaw.
And we'll be back.
Pull up.